All right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of moving and shaking reported for the Rams this offseason already. Some major moves predicted to be made. But one move in particular that has been reported would be the most impactful for the Rams. We'll break that down in just a minute. Before we do that, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, one move in particular that has been reported would be the most impactful for the Rams going forward. Let's jump into the article and we could talk more about it. On the other side, this, of course, from SI.com says, according to CBS Sports' Tyler Sullivan, the Chiefs could definitely be in the conversation for Cooper Kupp, given that they inquired about his availability earlier in the season when the Rams were down in the dumps to begin the season. That Kansas City reportedly had discussions with the Rams for Cooper Kupp leading to the deadline, but no deal came to fruition. The made speed bump was that Kupp was a $29.7 million cap charge in 2025. That'll need to be readjusted upon his arrival, but the Rams are reportedly willing to eat some of the money on his contract, which could make it more palatable for Kansas City. If they can make the money aspect where Kupp would be a fascinating addition for the Chiefs, but also I think it would be a very good move for the Rams as well. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Rams fans, in the comment section below, let us know, what are your thoughts moving Cooper Kupp? Would you be happy with him going to the Chiefs? Do you think that this would be something that would be palatable for you, or do you not want to see them have any of the nice toys on their team? I don't know if that's all it's cracked up to be, but let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Could you bear Cooper Kupp going to the Chiefs if the price is right? Let us know in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest move for the Rams?
So I don't know if he goes to the Chiefs, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think it's absolutely certain that the Rams trade Cooper Kupp this offseason. I think it's going to happen. And it's just history with this Los Angeles Rams organization. First of all, we all know this is an aggressive franchise. They've made moves with they've traded a bunch of draft picks to get veterans. They've been very aggressive when it's time to get aggressive. And we've seen this story play out before, right? After the 2018 season, the Rams made the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots in kind of disappointing fashion, but everyone thought they were a team that was going to be in the title hunt with that kind of roster for years to come. They had two winning seasons that followed that Super Bowl run, but disappointing exits, disappointing ends to those seasons. Sean McVay, Les Snead, they were frustrated, say no more. What they do, they went out and traded for Matthew Stafford. They won the Super Bowl that year. Since that year, the 2021 season, they've had two winning seasons. They had the one 5-12 year, but that was an injury riddled, kind of an ugly year. But they've had two winning seasons with disappointing exits, right? We saw what happened against Detroit Lions 2 years ago. They outplayed the Lions in Detroit, should have won that playoff game. They lost. And last year, this past just a few weeks ago now, they outplayed the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. We saw what Philly did to Kansas City and Washington and to Green Bay for that matter. This was a dominant Eagles team, and the Rams were this close to beating them. I think Sean McVay, I think Les Snead look at that and say, we're not going to go another season of being this close to being a top contender. We're going to repeat what we did in 2021, and we're going to make a big trade. Now, it's kind of the opposite thing, but the reality is getting off Cooper Kupp and getting a bunch of assets, getting some draft capital, I think is exactly the approach the Rams are going to take because, in a weird way, the Rams are doing things kind of the inverse of how you expect. The Rams have done such a good job drafting Kobe Turner, Fisk, Jared Verse, that they don't have to rely on veterans bringing in free agents to come in to fill immediate holes. They get these guys, they draft these guys, whether in the first round, second round, wherever. Puka Nakua is a great example of this. And they come in day one and they're basically like veterans and just dominating. I think the Rams look at that and they say, listen, we just need as many draft assets, draft picks as possible. And then we'll repeat that process this year, become a better football team and make a deep run. In 2021, they felt they needed an upgrade at the quarterback position. I feel like the Rams feel like they need to get younger at a couple different positions. I'm looking at linebacker. They wouldn't mind to get a little younger at wide receiver. Obviously, Cooper Kupp still has some gas left in the tank, but the injuries are a concern, and he certainly isn't the player he once was. I think the Rams trade off of Cooper Kupp, probably to the Kansas City Chiefs, get a bunch of draft picks, and use those draft picks like they've done so well the past couple years, and get ready to go guys that slide in and contribute for this team right away. I don't think there's any chance this doesn't happen. Cooper Kupp is too big of a name for a team like the Chiefs or other contenders to not take a bite on. And the Rams are so good at drafting that they'll be perfectly fine taking, a second and a third for Cooper Kupp, because another team, if they get a second and third, that's maybe one good player, maybe a decent backup. A second and third to the Rams is basically two Pro Bowlers the way they've been drafting. I think it's undeniable. My personal opinion, you guys may differ. Mine, you may disagree too. I think it's a done deal. The Rams make this trade, and guess what? It probably happens sooner rather than later. The Jared Goff trade was first reported in January 30th of that year. We're obviously a couple weeks past that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get news about Cooper Kupp getting traded sometime in the next week or two.
Yeah, Nick, I do agree, especially on one part in particular, is that the Rams have morphed this team, and it's kind of like the inverse of what we saw the last big time when they would trade for Stafford. At that point in time, like they said, all in on the free agency market, not really valuing the picks. Nowadays, they're more in on developing guys, drafting people, getting picks through the draft, namely the guys you mentioned on the defense side of the ball, Verse, Fisk, Turner, all really great, Young as well. But then also offensively, Puka Nakua doing really well. But the other thing they do is get value free agents and really kind of hit on those as well. Most notably on the offensive line, Kevin Dotson came out. He played 3 mediocre years, I would say, all in the mid 60 grades per PFF. Comes over to the Rams, have the highest graded years of his career the next 2 seasons. So they were able to hit big time on things like that. So I think this is really what the Rams have been doing, developing, growing through the draft and getting, diamond in the rough free agent guys as well. So it's like you said, a second, a third for the Rams. That's big time. That's really at least one impact player for the Rams, where many other teams, they'd be scrambling. They'd need 2 or 3 years of second round, third round picks at best to get one impact player. The Rams, like you said, the way they've been drafting, that's at least one guaranteed impact player for this team going forward. So I think, like you said, it's an inevitability. Cooper Kupp gets traded. The Chiefs one, it makes a lot of sense. I think the ends meet there. I don't know if that's going to be the team they end up partnering with or not. But like you said, this seems like it's a move that's going to happen in the very near future. And it seems like it would be a strong move for the Rams to make.